Hey folks, welcome back to the shop. Frank here. Continuing to work on the Cub Cadet inspired mini motor grader ripper and Scarifier assembly and installation. Last week put the hydraulics to it, operated the cylinder, worked great. So this episode will be the last episode in this series. I think this is the 10th episode. Surprised it took that long, but working a couple days a week, this is what happens. So I'm going to pull the motor grader out of the shop here. Got to touch up some paint for some of the welds that I had ground down, cleaned up, and primed. So I'm going to finish doing that, and then once the paint dries, we'll take the grader up the lane and see how it performs. All right, so this is the storage position for the rippers. And these are just clevis pins. I just installed the first three rippers, Scarifier shanks. Let's do this one here, the center one. got the Scarifier mounted here with all the shanks. The Scarifier shanks are down in front. The Ripper shanks, you know, which are longer and larger, are mounted in the back. There were a couple comments about, you know, why did I make the holder so wide? And I mean, the rationale is I wasn't sure what size shanks I was going to actually make. Might have made 1/2 inch or 5/8 inch, which I could cut on my plasma table. So I wound up using 3/8 and added a little spacer to take up the slack. So there really isn't much, you know, slack in these shanks movement. There's a little bit more in these because they're a little bit. I made the holders a little bit wider, and I actually made the spacers a little narrower. But the Scarifier shanks are don't have a whole lot of play. So, all right, I think it's good. All right, we're going to take it out and run it up and down the lane a little bit, see what it does. How's my butchie doing, huh? Being a good boy? Yeah. Where's Brutus? Brew Brew? Are you in here? Brew Brew. Oh. It's pretty hot outside today. I'm going to say close to 90, maybe 91, 92. These guys have been protecting the property. Oh, Brew Brew's chowing down here. Yeah. Nice and cool here in the shop. I think it's 74, so pretty cool. These guys just chilling out. All right, well, I had the tractor out earlier this morning, and you just watched the footage of the Scarifier working on the lane, the common lane here. It's the section of the lane that 10 houses, 10 homes share, and by far gets the most traffic. It is very highly compacted, and the Scarifier was able to disturb the roadbed a little bit. I did lower the shanks. I still need to, in order to, my first attempt at using the Scarifier was not real successful because I couldn't push the shanks into the soil. I couldn't apply any down pressure. My cylinder wasn't long enough to let me do that. But what I wound up doing was dropping all the shanks down one notch, which is almost it's 1 3/4 inches or so. So I was able to apply some down pressure on the soil or on the roadbed. Probably need to modify the cylinder arrangement a little bit to get a little more down pressure. I mean, I would use longer shanks, but I don't want to do that. I'd like to keep the shanks I've made. So I'm going to look at the cylinder attachment points and see, you know, maybe there's something else I can do. Yeah. So I'm gonna work on that. But it did work, and a couple passes up and down the roadbed did loosen up enough gravel to redistribute it, fill in a couple potholes. The roadbed's actually in pretty good shape. It only had 2 or 3 small potholes, which I was able to, you know, fill with the blade. So overall, I would say the ripper assembly build was a pretty good success. I don't really have any complaints about it in terms of function, other than I need to adjust the cylinder travel a little bit to get a little more down pressure on the shanks. But to be honest, with the, you know, limited horsepower and weight here, you know, there's a limit to what the shanks will do in terms of, you know, disturbing the roadbed. Now I do have chains. I have 2 sets of chains, or 4 chains, chains for 4 tires that I can put on these wheels. So that's the other thing that I've considered doing. I've got one well used set of chains in this bucket for this size tire, and I got another set that's almost new. So I can always add the chains. Now the problem with the chains is that you get a little bit of jostling, you know, as the chains come around, you get a little bit of movement up and down of the tractor, and it's going to leave ripples. Unfortunately, it would leave ripples with the blade if you used them with the blade, I believe. So that's my hesitation to put the chains on, and I may just may not even bother with that and just adjust the down pressure on the Scarifier bar and see, how much additional road disturbance I can cause, right, with the existing Ripper or Scarifier shanks. I have not tried the Ripper blades yet. That would be another day. I'm going to try them. We'll see. They're sharper. They don't have the teeth on the end, which are, blunt on purpose to limit how much they dig in. I was afraid if I put too sharp a point on them, they might dig in too much and stall the tractor completely. Because like I said, either I'm going to spin the tires or stall the engine or have the belts slip on the centrifugal clutch. So, I mean, it has limited capabilities. It's not a commercial machine. And I've said that, several times about, all my builds. They're not intended to be commercial machines. But I do believe the Ripper assembly has turned out to be very interesting to look at and use. All right, folks, that's going to wrap up this episode of the Cub Cadet inspired Mini Motor Graders Ripper build, and I'm pretty darn happy with how it turned out. It does work as expected, I think. It's limited by the weight and horsepower of the machine, obviously, but it was able to scrape up and disturb the road bed enough to have some gravel to move around with the blade. So, I'm pretty happy about that. And I'm really happy, delighted with the suggestions from several of the viewers who said, build it with a 4-link mounting system. And I'm so happy, I'm really pleased that I made the decision to make that change, because I think it made a big difference in the appearance and in some sense how it works too. Single cylinder to raise and lower it, though I need to adjust the travel a little bit on that, so I'll work on that. Anyway, that's going to wrap it up. Subscribe if you haven't already. That really does help the channel. If you enjoyed the content, give us a thumbs up. Click on the notification bell so you get notified of upcoming episodes. I do try to publish one a week. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.